Welcome back guys, I am Hyzer and I'm back with a photo manipulation tutorial once again. As you saw in the beginning of the video, we are gonna make a silhouette out of some stock images. Photo manipulation is a process where you can add multiple images, stock images and make an artwork, picture, a painting, whatever you may call it. So it's just editing to us editors and I'm gonna show you how I did it for this picture. So first of all, I'm gonna make a flow for my subject to stand upon. Then I'm using selection tool, the round one, and blurring the subject so my sun look like it's glowing. Then I am importing a picture for clouds to show up, and I'm using some techniques like blend if and applying some levels to control the appearance of these clouds. And I only want these clouds to show like in the foreground of the sun, and for around the sun I will use the same picture but in a different technique where I will blur these clouds and decrease its opacity. Though I am not satisfied with the clouds around the sun, but I will reduce its opacity once again. Some hue saturation and we done it. Now it's time for some custom clouds, and that I am adding through some collection of my brushes like smoke and clouds. But I am using brush tool like in low opacity, low flow. You can get these properties right upon your property bar of these brush tool. For the lower part of the image, I imported a shape to add some custom clouds and give my picture a depth of the ocean. But I have a sun here, a second one, so I can remove it by using patch tool easily. Now I want to add some glow to my flow, to my ground, and for that I use the same object, same image, but I will set it so blend mode to somewhat like vivid light or like luminosity, so that it gives me like subtle glow. In case if you want to follow along using images used in this project, check description. Now it's time to import our main subjects. In our case, a blanket and a dog. Now for these two subjects to be in black was on purpose, because that's why I was making sky look like shiny and have a big sun. So our sun is shining enough to make our subjects look like a silhouette. Now I am using brush tool on new layers and clipping those layers to our subject so our glow doesn't spill out of our subjects. Next I am adding some stroke and outer glow and fine tuning its range so that our subject stays in the shadow shade, and I am removing some of its areas so we can give our subject some real depth. On this boy I used a layer mask. Benefit of that is that I can easily just delete layer mask and whole effect is there, and that effect I can easily apply on the dog, the second object. Next I'm just fine-tuning some dog areas. This picture was suggested by one of my followers on Instagram, and to let you know, I just started my Instagram account, and I'll be very happy if you just follow me there. That would be really helpful in growing my Instagram audience. Now it's time to work on our subjects, like really work on our subjects, because I want to make it look like our subjects belong in this water, in this shore, in this sea. So I'm removing some of our dog parts, areas like from the foot. I'm saying the same process I'm gonna repeat on our boy subject. I am using hue saturation layer on a recently imported layer just to maintain the whole color balance of the theme, but that didn't work very well. So next I add a new layer and pick a color from sky, blend mode set to color, and now it's looking convincing. Yes, It's time to make our sun like more glowy, and for that I'm just gonna copy my sun and stretch it along the way, next some blur and reduce opacity. Now this picture is a win because when we use this picture in blend mode set to luminosity, it's going to give us some promising results. Next I'm gonna use some levels and make this something dark, and now it's looking convincing. And I'm removing some parts from our subjects to make those look like they are just in the water. Next I am adding some haze, some mist to our whole scene just to give some depth to our image, and that's pretty much it. As you can see, I am using a really low opacity brush because I don't want to spoil my image, and it's always recommended that you use like a 3 to 4% flow, but my hands are subtle, so that's why I'm using 39% and always removing some opacity and working on new layers after new layers and new layers. As you can see, I am enlarging the image, and it's time to make our reflection. Just copy the image and invert it just to get a good reflection, but that's not enough. Let me show you in a while. Some fine tuning before I really apply some depth map. I am gonna use somewhat depth map of a water reflection, and it will give me some subtle and real looking reflections. I really need to stretch this reflection because I don't want to make it look like the same proportions of the upper image. I want some difference actually. And working with some glowing reflections and fine tuning those, I'm almost finished with our reflection. But the most important thing of reflection is that you use a displacement map of that object. In our case is water. I want our reflection to look like some layers of water are running on our reflection. That's why I'm using a water reflection displacement map. You can easily find any tutorial on YouTube how to apply displacement map. For now I don't have that kind of tutorial. I always convert to smart object before applying a displacement map, and you can see results. It's pretty good. Some fine tuning, and I'm ready to import some background elements like some crows, some birds, and I don't want to use big crows, that's why I'm gonna remove those. And I am rearranging, copy pasting a lot of crows here and there to make it look like smaller crows and very back far, and some sort of improvement in the haze on our crows. And finally I'm ready to apply a filter, some haze on our crows, and I'm ready to apply a filter. And finally using color lookup edgy amber, reducing some opacity, and we are done. Hopefully I could teach you something about photo manipulation, and give it a really big thumbs up if you like this. And if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. I'll reply as soon as possible, and don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.